What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Carbon Ether Podcast, where knowledge meets understanding. I am the astute Sharif Prescott, and sitting here with me today is none other than my main man, Derek Cook, and all the way from Portland, Oregon, finally, we got Chameleon, y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, fam? What's up,
What's up,
fam?
man? How y'all doing, man?
All right, all
Cool,
right,
boy.
all right,
Glad
all
to
right.
have you in the house.
Yes,
finally.
sir.
I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
to be here.
Yes, sir.
Happy to be here. I've been doing all the work outside of the Carbon Ether podcast, so
All
behind
in
the scenes,
order.
and
Hey.
I'm glad to be here.
And we definitely
Finally.
appreciate it.
Behind the scenes is where most of the glory
Yeah,
happens.
we
That's
definitely
right.
appreciate
That's
it. So, hey, but before we start, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe, share, and follow.
And don't forget to comment. We appreciate all the love and support we get from our stars and those who might end up being our stars later. But I do want to say, please forgive us for missing our drop dates. You know, whenever we are supposed to release new videos, we're having some issues technically. But hopefully we'll get those under wraps and we'll get back on track and we'll stay on track going forward. So, what's our discussion for today, fellas?
Our discussion today is about Sara Baartman. She was born in the Kamdaboo Dutch Cape Colony, British colony, that turned into a British colony by the time she
Cape
was
Town.
an adult. Yeah, it was Cape Town,
So the-
South Africa.
South Africa.
South Africa,
Okay.
yeah. Well, if you guys watched the Billboard's Music Awards this year, Women's Music Award this year, you would have saw Erica Badu in this strange looking outfit. And we all know Erica can be a little eclectic and a little different, but I like that kind of thing in a woman. I'll let your boy Sharif Prescott Badu. But that's what she was saying. That's the statement she was making, paying homage to Sara Baartman, as Chameleon had just mentioned. What happened to her, to Sara Baartman, I'm speaking about, is nothing less than a tragedy. It's horrific how she was treated, how she was showcased, and just the uglies and the horrors. Am I not correct, fellas?
Yes,
You're
sir.
correct
You're
on
absolutely
that.
right.
And having to go through so much as a young person, as a young child, losing her dad first, and then behind that losing her mom, and then even going through her trials and tribulations, she lost a child herself.
A
Yeah.
couple,
A couple of children.
from
man.
what they
So
say.
Yeah.
It is just an atrocity to see someone treated so inhumanely. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and to be treated like that and to go through so much only in her 20s.
Yeah.
Right.
Only in her 20s. So
She made it, what, 26?
26
years old.
26 years old.
So I think Erica Badu's appearance at the award show, I think it was absolutely necessary
Yeah.
because more people need to understand the significance
Yeah.
and what Sara Baartman went through and what a lot of women from back then went through, what a lot of women after went through, and what a lot of women go through now. The abuse by men, especially for $1. I mean, I don't understand. Listen, man, I'd rather die poor as hell than give up my principles and integrity. Forget the morals, because
Yeah.
morals can change. You can be taught something and think that's a great moral value, and that moral value can be absolutely asinine, benign, and no good. So I'd rather stick with integrity and principle all day, every day. Joe, if you guys want to dive right on in?
Yeah, the truth will set you free, though, at the end of the day, man. And just the inhumane way.
We ain't talking about the hallelujah truth.
No. Not.
I had to sneak it in, y'all.
Not I know you got religion, truth.
Not
Old
that
time
truth.
religion, no, not that.
Not that truth.
So
You want to kick us off, Derek?
So, Sara Baartman, aka Hottentot Venus, that's what they called her. So she was
Derogatory. Hottentot Venus is a derogatory word then and now.
yes. Now she was taken from
Her village.
her village. She's belonged to the Khoi tribe, and she basically worked as a servant
Nursemaid and
in Cape Town.
washwoman.
Yeah, in Cape Town, and she was taken to Europe as a freak show attraction. So I'm asking,
Did y'all hear what he said? She was taken to Europe for a freak show attraction. Now, the freak, and I'm not trying to interrupt
Yeah,
my
yeah,
man
yeah,
Derek's
yeah, yeah.
wisdom. I just want y'all to understand what he said. This beautiful melanated queen was taken from the continent of Alkebulan, which you guys know of as Africa, over to Europe as a what? There,
Freak show
as a freak
attraction.
show attraction.
But can you guys explain to me how she got there? What was the process of her to get there? Was she tricked, or
They
put her on a contract,
Yeah.
actually.
they put
And,
on the
um,
contract. Yeah.
But it was deemed a term that I think it was basically slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way that you just gonna just up and leave your family and where you're from on accounts. But it had to be a promise of something for her.
Yeah, it was
to
deception.
go there.
It was deception. And
Basically deception. All
It was,
the way.
it was deception
It had to be.
and slavery by consent because they told her that she would go over in 5 years, she can come back home and they're going to give her money
Right.
for going over to Europe. But she didn't know that she was going to be the freak show. She knew she would be seen because of her buttocks. You know, she was the first, as Chameleon said earlier in the green room, she had the first
The
BBL,
first VBL.
but hers was
It
natural.
was natural.
yeah, wasn't all that
But
other
it
stuff?
started a trend though because of that.
Yeah. We'll fall off in that in just a moment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just you know, they just told her that she would go to Europe, to England, to take part of shows, but it was like, what type of shows were they talking about?
And let's go backwards for a minute. And it was the two brothers, Peter and Hendrik Caesar, who first started showcasing her at the hospital. I think it was the Caesar brothers. I got it in some notes.
No, she was when they took her to London. She was displayed.
No.
Not that.
Before.
Oh,
Before
okay,
then,
okay.
when she
It
was
was
still in
Woodstock.
Cape
That's
Town.
what it says,
Hold on,
Woodstock.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Woodstock.
Yeah.
But first, remember, it was Peter and Hendrik Caesar, the
Right.
two brothers,
Right.
who first started taking her to the little hospital out there in Cape Town, showcasing her making money
Okay.
off of it.
Okay.
And that's when Dunlop
Yeah,
saw her, and
Yeah.
they went over to Europe. And
Yeah.
you're right, Woodstock does.
yeah, Mr. William Dunlop. Yep.
Or
So-
Alexander.
Yeah, because when they showcased her, like put on display in a museum, like you put a live person on display
In the Egyptian Museum. Yep.
in a museum, like how degrading is that?
A live person now.
Very.
A live person
Yeah,
inside of a
that's-
museum.
Yeah, that's
Zoos are
Yeah.
for living mammals and lizards.
With the
and
animals,
creatures.
pretty much.
Yeah, because at one point she was put in a cage right beside, I think it said it was a rhinoceros.
Yeah.
Um,
It was.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. So she
But
put on display. And,
this is the horror that she had to face. People were coming to see this so-called attraction, which is the eighth wonder of the world, she was considered, poking her with sticks, paying to touch her.
And probably throwing stuff at her too.
Oh, of course they did. Always. Shit, name a time when they don't. So,
yeah, but what other type of things that what type of things about her or her bodily features that fascinated the Europeans?
all that ass.
She had some other things
In them
too.
jeans.
Yeah, she had,
Well, I
They ain't have jeans back then.
yeah, yeah.
No, boy, but you know,
You know,
But if they did, I don't know if she could fit in.
I probably couldn't.
probably couldn't. I think it's a labia.
Yeah, her long
Yeah.
labia, and we all know what long labia mean.
Oh yeah.
Or that's what it said,
Yeah.
because they thought that the long labia was the link between us melanated people and monkeys, gorillas, apes, cave, whatever, you know.
Right.
And that back then, that's when, during her time, is when Charles Darwin was starting to come to his peak in the pseudoscientific world. I did say in the pseudoscientific world because Darwin was a pseudoscientist regardless. I don't know why he's revered to this day or admired. So I just want to make that clear.
So, yeah, it's just
The thing we have to look at is the horrors and the torture that she went through, the humiliation, being poked at. Then she got put inside of a cage and beside, like I said a moment ago, a rhinoceros. People coming to see her, and white women became so engulfed in Sara Baartman's buttocks that they created the bustle to a padded bustle
Yeah.
to shape their figure,
Right.
so their husbands would be more
Attracted.
and more interested and attracted
yeah.
into them rather than Sara Baartman. And think about this before we proceed. She's looked at as an animal, a link between man and ape by way of pseudoscience. And yet, white men are paying money to have sex
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with the link between
Yep.
man and ape.
Yep. Perform sexual acts, and she was prostituted out.
Help it make sense. Make it make sense.
Prostituted out.
Yeah, she was prostituted out. Yeah,
So that was basically like a form of sex trafficking
yeah,
Exactly.
they lied.
back then. What we have today.
And when
They legalized it
Yeah.
in their day
Mhm.
to do
And-
that.
yeah, and the saddest part about it is her age.
So young. So young.
She was young. What she lived 10 years, but the brilliance of it though. Let's skip that. The
Yeah,
brilliance.
Let's get to that.
How they say she's the link, the missing link between man and ape, but yet she spoke 3 languages.
She's very intelligent.
Facial recognition.
Very
they
intelligent.
said beyond belief. She's extremely intelligent, although they would say that she was illiterate because she couldn't read and write their language. And of course, you know, they wasn't teaching
No.
the Africans, the Acubulanians, that
Yep.
their method of writing and learning to read.
With no cursive.
Now, with no cursive back then.
Well, they ain't teaching that now.
Oh, yeah.
They're not even teaching it now. So
Yeah,
No.
definitely
What'd that
not
tell
teaching
you?
that now. So,
So it's crazy.
but yeah, but like you guys were saying, that they started the racial science where they wanted to take pictures of her
Yeah.
and do paintings of her and study her because her body was so fascinating to them.
They never seen nothing like it. You see that, what do you call that thing, the camera's on? Tripod?
Yeah,
You see each of those legs? That's what that was built like. And you see that thing with the lights, the tripod that got the lights on it, how big it is?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what her body was like.
Right.
So you can see.
So yeah, of
Big
course.
difference.
Yeah, of course.
big difference.
Of course,
Something
you
they
know.
hadn't tried before, so
Yeah.
they wanted to try it
Yeah.
out.
But still, the craziest part to me is if you're so fascinated by this missing link, how in the hell are you paying to have sex with it?
That's the oldest business in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Prostitution.
we know that. But listen, we're talking about a missing link between man and ape, and you having sex with this missing link.
Well, they're
That'd be
savages.
shit. I digress.
Hey, ain't no other way to put it. They just
Yeah.
straight
I
savages.
digress.
Yeah, because again, you know, some people just have it in their head like, oh wow, I'm fascinated. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. I want to do this. I want to do that to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, and like say the European women. Oh, I want to be like her. You
Yeah.
know, her body. You know, just all her
It's
features.
a common thing that's going on right now nowadays.
yeah.
'Cause The women, the other women, they want to be just like our women.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a common thing.
I just, when I read about Sara Baartman, and I think you pronounce her actual name like Sarji, something like that. Kind
Yeah.
of difficult to say. But they changed her name to Sarah from her original name, from her birth name to Sarah because it was more appealing and sounded more Christian-like. Yet again now, and you know when that something about Christianity come up or religion,
Yeah.
I got to say my piece. If religion was everywhere at the same time around the globe, then why did they have to change her name from what it was before to Sarah? So it'd be more appealing to the European class, and it had more of a Christian vibe to it.
Right.
Come on now, somebody help it make sense, man, because it ain't making sense to Sharif.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I was in Europe and they brought somebody over that was, they say she was 4 feet 10 inches tall,
Yeah.
and I see a big booty that round and something like that, I'm going in my pockets too. Like, hey,
Probably
here
if
you
it
go.
was European, but if
Yeah, European.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know me,
But
if
if
I'm
you're
African,
you're
I'm
gonna
used
be
to it.
more used to
Yeah,
it.
I'm used to it.
You
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it on
Accustomed
the
to
regular.
it because
All the time.
I'm pretty sure she was the only woman in that tribe that had a big
yeah.
ass.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
in the manner upon which she had her figure, her shape of her buttocks was because of the
Steatopegia.
yeah, where it had a
Steatopegia. That's what
yeah
it is.
build up a fatty tissue, which helped plump her on out. And I think the pictures that they painted, which if you go back to Jim Crow era, these look like minstrel pictures
Right, right.
of her. So I'm sure she didn't look exactly like this.
No, they had
face
more of
wise.
a monkey concept
Yeah.
because that's what was in their head, and that's
Yeah.
what they were portrayed in
Yeah.
their heads. That's what she looked like.
Yeah.
I don't think she really looked
There
like
it is,
that.
right there, character.
Yeah.
That caricature.
Caricature.
That caricature drawing of a Baartman drawn in the early 19th century.
Mhm.
This is the thing that gets me is these same ideologies flourish in America today. How they do it's like if you go back, I remember earlier this week, two different situations, occasions, teachers writing the N word on the board, like the little touch screen TV things they got in the classrooms now, with melanated and white kids in the room at the same time. None of these kids was having it, of course, because they ain't with this madness.
Mm-mm.
But and I say that to go back to, if they did that kind of thing during this time, it still was wrong. But I get it.
Yeah.
But as this woman's body was just returned in 2002 by way of
2002.
Nelson Mandela, back to her home country, Alkebulan.
Right.
You would hope this type of ugliness goes away, but it don't. It just continuously perpetuates because certain people don't want to let this kind of ugly die. They and now look at these teachers with these children, and as we're here on Carbon Ether Podcast, trying to give knowledge and to the world, and whoever want to hear it that haven't heard it, rather, the teachers are up in there doing exactly what this administration had in mind: strip them of it.
Right.
Take the education from them, which is why we don't know about a Sara Baartman.
Right.
Because that's not what we're fine-tuned to. As we said in the show the other day about these young men and women
Oh, yeah.
making these decisions is because of lack of formal education at home. And then that extended formal education
Starts
inside
at
the
home.
classroom. Yeah.
Starts at home.
Yeah.
This racial thing and how she was treated, we're still seeing it today is my point.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
And what's so crazy about this story too is it took them 187 years to get her back to where she came from.
Yeah.
They
That's crazy
refused-
to have a memorial and everything burial service 187 years later. This tells you how wrong this story was.
Yeah.
You know,
Man,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just
it's insane.
inhumane is the way they did her. You know.
And you know what?
But I'm glad they honored her. They finally got the chance to honor
Well,
her.
they had to, man, because the body didn't belong to you. She was the first video vixen before there was TV.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So while the women out here right now, like these young women in the streets, even some of these grown ass women, older women, our age and older, our parents' age perhaps,
Yes, sir.
out here showing themselves off to get a man or to get some attention or whatever. Music videos, they still doing it. When you go, if you are a woman of melanation, if you are a melanated woman, you go read this story of Sara Baartman or YouTube the story of Sara Baartman, I will guarantee you will change your mindset on how you want to present yourself out in public because this is amazing.
Yeah,
It's a terrible story.
I think every young lady should know about this story. You know,
Absolutely.
and read up on it. Do their research. Do your own research. Okay, because we done our research, but you got to go out and do yours too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it will help you. You will see it more clearly if you go out and research it on your own.
Absolutely.
And just like Chameleon said, it took over 100 years for them to give her a proper burial. And after her death, they still had an exhibition going on with her.
Yeah, because they created I don't know if out of stone or clay or wax or whatever.
Oh
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
had her bones
Yeah,
inside
yeah,
the
yeah.
museum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They created that actual lifelike figure. So it was still showcasing that.
Yeah, her sexual organs, brain, skeleton,
Skeleton.
all were on display.
Her brain was on display.
Her brain was on display
That's
too
what it said.
in
So
Paris,
so I wonder when.
in the Paris Museum.
Yeah, because she went to Europe, then she made it over to Paris, France,
Mm-hmm.
which is where she was treated most horrifically, and then she even made it all the way to Ireland, where she was still treated with so much lack of respect.
She was treated so bad, they don't even really know how she died.
Yeah,
That's how bad it was.
Yeah,
They had several, ideas of what it could have been.
Yeah,
Which was
pneumonia,
pneumonia, STDs, or syphilis, or
syphilis.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But there was no autopsy to conclude what really happened. To her.
I'll guarantee you, it was probably syphilis, because
I
from
would think so.
some of the stuff that I've read and I've heard, they saying that sex was just like. I mean, constant. I don't mean like somebody doing they do.
So you saying with her,
Yeah,
like all the time?
Yeah,
Okay.
men paying for sex
Okay.
because she became something erotic to them. Never seen it. All that thickness,
Yeah.
all that booty.
Yeah.
Never seen that.
You remember
Yeah.
that song, Dance Too Much Booty in the
Yeah,
Pants?
yeah.
So when
Oh,
they
yeah.
saw that,
Oh, yeah.
that song
Oh,
came
yeah.
into their head
Oh yeah.
automatically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
but it's just that's man. Can you imagine somebody having to
No.
go through that all the time? A woman,
no.
a woman having to
No.
go through that like
It's one of our queens, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? To get treated that way.
yeah.
It's just
Makes-
horrific.
When you think of your mom and your sister,
sister,
your
yeah.
aunties, your grandmothers, something like that, it's like, like you said, it'll piss you off. It'll piss you off.
Yeah, going through the story, I had so many emotions going through, man. It made me so angry. But at the same time, I see where they honored her, and it makes me feel better. But at the same time, though, to go through all that inhumane stuff, man, it's just crazy, man. But knowing that she was a smart lady and she didn't, just die without being noticed,
Yeah.
it's a heartwarming thing.
Yeah.
And I wish more people knew about her.
Yeah.
And I salute Erica Badu for always going against the grain. I ain't even gonna say against the grain, but always being Erica Badu. As we were saying in the show the other night, how stop following trends, do your thing, be who you are, embrace yourself, be the trendsetter for you. I'm trend setting for Sharif. I ain't trend setting for nobody else. If you don't like it, that's your business. And I salute Erica Badu for always being that person. Not that she know me, because she don't, and I ain't saying this for clicks, but Sara Baartman was a beautiful woman. Erica Badu done her thing by showing up at that award show, dressed in that fit she had on, honoring Sara Baartman. If more of us done that, more awareness will be brought. But it's time about all the single ladies and all that stuff, man. Forget that, scratch that.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Our history is so vast and broad, it's ridiculous. But yet we don't know it, and most of us don't care to know it, and that's what the problem is today. We need to know about a Sara Baartman, we do, and a Marcus Garvey, because I know a lot of these young cats don't know about a Marcus Garvey, and you need to know about a James Baldwin. Some of these kids might not even know who, what's the name, the great poet.
Maya
Angelou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Recent.
man,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And it's probably many more, which I'm saying it's probably, but I know it was many more Sara Baartman
Yeah.
on plantations
Oh, yeah.
and throughout the South and over in Europe
Torment,
and
just treated
in
so
the Caribbean.
inhumanely and
So
wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's and the thing is, what was a guy named had old girl? He won't let old girl go. The young black girl he had all the kids with. What was that white guy name? Damn, I shouldn't even brought it up since I can't even remember.
yeah. I'm sitting here like, who?
Well, I know Andrew
you do.
Jackson had a lot of.
Thank you.
Oh,
Andrew
president?
Jackson.
He's my president? Oh, okay. Mr.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Mr. Andrew
Himself.
Jackson.
Yeah, the one
Himself.
who said black people stink.
Yeah.
Said black women stink, slaves
Yeah.
stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how they say old George. They used to call him the Night Rider before the Night Rider, the militia group and the car kid.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call him the Night Rider. He was leaving by horseback, from seeing his melanated mistress and caught the pneumonia
Oh yeah.
and went on into the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say.
Mm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I digress. I'm gonna have to look into it. But I'm just saying that's why I said that's what they say, meaning I've heard it. I'm not saying this is a fact. I heard it, and I wanted to share it. Maybe somebody else has heard it too. Please, if you have, drop it in the comments. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you guys got anything else on it?
Well, no. You know, it was a great story, and like I said, Erykah Badu. You know, when she came out on stage, there's probably a lot of people looking at her like, "What? No,
I did.
What does she have
I
on?
did.
Well,
I'm
like,
like-
what is that?"
I'm like, man, what's Erykah doing? But it's
But she always had something.
It's always, something.
with
So
her.
that's what it was
So-
saying. It's for a reason. It's for a reason. I just felt like I knew what that reason
Research.
was.
That's your word, right?
Yeah.
Research.
And it didn't hit me till the next day when I actually saw somebody say something about it. I said, damn, how did I miss it? But I missed it. But hey, we can't get them all. But anyways, we thank you guys for joining us. Again, we may be a little delayed in dropping some videos. We're having some technical difficulty right now. But we're gonna bounce back. And I know some of y'all might ask, why in the world would Sharif say something like that? So we won't keep you on hold and looking for something that's not there yet and might not arrive. And you're not going to reach out to us via email, carboneatherpodcast@gmail.com. So I'm going to drop it to you now. So if there's a delay, it's not purpose. It's not on purpose. Some things are going on. We thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Peace.
Peace.